Good morning everyone, welcome to my video. Okay, so we have our next prompt. It's greenhouse or shed, garden shed or potting house. So I've got a couple ideas, a couple of them I'm just still mulling around. This one I thought I'd start with again because I'm liking the ideas of these hanging baskets. I sort of feel like this isn't a place on this one for a garden shed. If anything, maybe even some of these could be garden sheds. But I thought, well, let's have a think about what's inside a garden shed. And I remembered that I'd taken this copy out of a pattern that I had. And I've never stitched it. So I thought maybe there's an opportunity to think about some hanging baskets that are inside the shed. So that's sort of where I'm heading. This little guy, I'm wondering if it's got a use, but I don't think it's this one. I'm really thinking about this. So being that this piece has sort of hit its bottom and we're on our way back up, I was looking at this space. The first thing I've got to figure out is how I disguise that I've got some patches of fabric coming here. So I went through my basket of tricks and I'm sort of haven't quite found anything yet. I found this. Actually, this picture has them hanging off of a vine. So I'm wondering if I can use some of the pillow slip that we've been cutting into to create the vine, or this. I sort of want to save this. This is all I've got. So I think I could sort of probably take something like that and hang the pots from it, I think. But I do need to deal with this joint. Let's have a look in the basket here of all our supplies for this project and see if anything jumps out at me. No. Oh. Okay, that's probably something. Let me get that out of the way. I wonder, oh yeah, that'll work. So all I'd have to do is blend in the lace, which that won't be too hard. That's okay. I probably need to find some form of flower or something that we could squeeze into there, because I've got him somewhere. Yeah, I've got him down here. So maybe, so I've got a little a junction here. So we need to disguise that. Let me just trim this little guy back. I'm wondering if we can finish off this edge or this space with this long doily. And maybe he pops in there. Yeah, I'm liking that. Where's my pins? Straight away, the hanging pot sort of came to me for this particular prompt on this one. I didn't think I'd get a shed in. The French garden, that's, I know exactly what I'm going to do there, and I can't wait to get to it. But the other two, I'm still mulling around. And this one here, I think I'll stitch that in. That sort of finishes. I like this edge. That's the edge of the linen shirt that was my mum's. So I'm going to leave that little feature. I will stitch that down. Whether this gets cut as we go up or it stays, who knows? But I'll just let that continue up until we know, you know, future prompts. And just stitch it down to that point. And, you know, at the end of the day, if I decide to cut it back here because of something that comes that needs more space, well, you know, we can. And I can just unpick the few stitches up here and bring it back to here, cut it, and then away we go, or it continues right up the center of the piece. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now I feel like we've got ourselves a pocket to do something. Okay, so what's the story with this pattern? Oh, okay, so you cut an applique basket. All right, let's find some fabric. Where's this? I really like this old linen, and it suits the colour tones of our piece. So let's get down here in the scrap part and just trace ourselves out a couple baskets. I don't know if I'll get the 3 in. We'll start with 2. And just get ourselves a rough shape. And the second one's a bit smaller by the looks of it. It's saying to cut 2 of them for this little pattern. So we'll do that. We'll pay homage to the designer, who was Libby Richardson. So Libby wants us to have 2 this size. Okay, give or take a few squiggly lines, but that's a good start. Not sure where my little scissors have got to, but this will do the trick. Probably could cut them out of lace. This piece is not really lacy. It's all about embroidery and the crocheted edges that people have put onto those doilies. So I sort of want to keep it to that. And then the medallions are the little extra decorative elements, just to sort of add a little extra layering and, you know, feature to the piece. Now looking at that pattern, there's some little roses, a vine, some daisies. So they look quite interesting. We'll get to that. That'll be another video another day. Now I'm not sure how my videos will go this weekend, because I've got a few social activities on, and I've got some people staying again, and it gets a bit tricky to sneak off and fiddle around in my craft room when I'm thinking about the next meal, and oh boy, it's all fun. So bear with me. There may be a few hit and miss days where you just don't see me pop up, and you can say, okay, Corrine's socialising. So I'll do what I can, and while everyone's asleep, I can sneak in and have a play. So you may see me every day. I don't know. I just thought I'd better pre-warn you, because I'm gallivanting. They're pretty good. That one's a little bit smaller, but that's okay. We get the general idea. So let's have a look. How would we do this? If we have a vine coming, so I may need to even extend this. Where would we hang them? We've got a little guy and a big guy. So a little guy would sit in there nicely. Or do we come right to the edge and come into this space? And what would we do there? Or do we put the big guy here, bring him over a little bit, and that doily can sneak onto him a little bit, and this here, where's my pen? So let's assume, so she's got this line and then that line. So let's assume that we hang this guy here. So we're inside the potting shed, and let's call these the mother plants, and she takes cuttings from them. See, we can create a backstory here. She takes cuttings from them for the garden. So one can hang there. One can hang there. I better turn my phone off because I was expecting a phone call. So I just want to, one can come. That'll be tricky to stitch on that edge. So I might just lift it a fraction. Let's make it easy on ourselves here. Okay, that guy can hang there. Yeah, I do like that. And then I guess, can we get another one there? If that comes up here and then continues on. I'm thinking that could work. And that edge of that linen shirt there, I think will help create a bit of a three-dimensional feel. Oh, I can hear some guests have just arrived. Oh my goodness, this weekend is going to be crazy. Bear with me, guys. Oh, my serenity is about to change. So what I might do is I'm going to stop this video. I better write down how far we got. 11 minutes. That's not fair. Oh, I sent them down to the grocery store to do some grocery shopping for me. I think the only way I'm going to survive this weekend is I delegate. So I sent all the boys down for a grocery run, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to stop the video because cars are about to drive into the garage and it's about to get really, really noisy. So I will see you shortly. Who knows how much time will go by in this little break, but yeah, bear with me. Thanks, guys. Bye. Hello, everyone. I'm back. So I've only been away about 15 minutes, so all the lads are having a cold drink and a relax. The girl group haven't got back from the local shops because they sort of went in two groups. But the boys are back. My groceries are here, so I can at least feed them tonight. And I've told them, sit in there, have a cold drink, have a chat, and I'm snuck back to you guys to have a play. So we did 12 minutes, so that gives me a bit of an idea of what we're going to do. Now, I'm pretty happy with that. What I might do is grab some calico and maybe extend this, because I'm doing it in patches and I'm sort of creeping up really quickly on our space. So I might grab that calico, which is just here. Okay. Oh, and Judy, you sent a comment to me asking the size of the panel, the big panel. I have not had a chance to get me, the panel, and a tape measure in the one room to measure it. So I will answer your question, but while I'm here, maybe I can actually answer the question. So I'm so sorry, Judy. I've been answering everyone's questions and comments, and that one was like, oh, I must go to the room and do that. So what I'm going to do, how much bigger do we need to go on this piece? I've got calico or muslin here by the meter, and I'm wondering how much bigger it's going to go. So I might just do a snip and a rip, and I'll go the width of the calico. We can always double check. What would Grandma say? Measure twice, cut once. I need to measure 4 times before I do anything. Has everyone seen Susanna's video? She's put up her retreat video, and she's showing the project, and it's looking fantastic, this retreat. I know a few tickets have sold, so if anyone wants to join the retreat that Susanna from Vintage Blend Studios is doing, she's also prepared a visual one, what do they call it? A virtual one. Look, I've got to try and work and talk, Corrine, otherwise I'll get nothing done. She's prepared a virtual one as well, so anyone outside Australia can also join in and watch all of the videos that we'll be using to complete the project. So yeah, it's and she's had quite a few requests for that, so I think she is considering the technology side of things, that maybe she can add more people to that virtual concept. I don't know how all that works, and I think Susanna's finding her way with it too. We're sort of very similar. We're like love crafting, and we can pick up a needle and thread without even batting an eyelid. But when it comes to technology, we're all like, oh my goodness, what now have we got to learn? So yeah, I'll put a link to her introductory video. Let me write that in the to-do list. Susanna. Her retreat, the dates, I'm not 100% sure now in my memory. I watched her video at like 2 in the morning. Crazy, I know. Should be asleep, but I did. So I'll put the link to her video talking about the details and dates and the kits and projects and yeah, in the description. So that is just the big piece of calico. I wonder if I come up a little bit so you can sort of see what I've done. I've just slid another piece in. It's wider than my actual piece, but that can always be dealt with. There's this little guy going up the center. So I'm thinking I'll probably, where's my pins gone? Now I've got this massive piece of calico attached, but that's all right. Let's pin that. Time to add an extension. I'm going to invisible stitch that little doily because I really like it, but I might leave the edges flapping a bit so that if I want to tuck in or come over it, I can. Wonder what this little doily would have been used for. Maybe on a little sandwich tray. I haven't seen them that long shape before. Where's my ruler? That little guy. He's 10 inches by 3.5. So a real cute little one. Okay, so I'll need to attach over here. I'm hoping once I've fed the crowd, everyone will settle down for, you know, chats and a few drinks, and the girls, I reckon, will want to come into my craft room and we'll put a movie on, and there goes a piece of paper to the floor, and just hang out. So that's when I can pick these pieces back up and have a bit of a stitch. The weekend wasn't even planned. It's like suddenly one group said, hey, we're in Brisbane, can we call in? I'm like, yeah, no worries. Where are you staying? Oh, we're thinking about booking a hotel. I'm like, no, you're not. You're coming here. And then probably about 3 hours later, the next group. So it's great. It's so good to catch up with people. We get so busy in our day-to-day worlds that to have some random things like that happen, it's really cool. So that is the extension attached. I like how those little baskets are going to sit on that edge. This little guy will drop down. And then up here, I'm thinking we'll go back to that piece here and see what we can find. That one there caught my eye. I really like that big flower, but he would be in the wrong spot. We need a flower that's coming, I reckon that one there, maybe those blue ones. I reckon that might work, you know. What else is there before I get too carried away? Love that, but it's heading the wrong way, or is it? Or, you know, that might work. So we've got the edges there. So we could cut around there and around there, head up, catch the bird, and the pots would be hanging under this, and the bird would be above them. But they're technically meant to be in a greenhouse. Does it matter? That would be pretty. I'm going to cut it out. Or do I? Do I do this one over here? I'm going to cut it out. We'll do a rough cut first, and we'll go above the bird. Then we'll come down here, disconnect, come down here, come out a bit, disconnect there, come down through here, disconnect, and then we'll go out to the edge. All right, so let's now I do like that. So I would disconnect here. That gold flower might be an issue, but we could probably disconnect him if we needed to, but he would look good. Okay, let's get this into position here. So the gold flower, I can hear the girls have just come back, but I've given the boys instructions. There's cold quiche in the fridge so they can carry on and have lunch. What time is it? See, it's 11 o'clock here. They can carry on and have a bit of lunch and a cold drink. And so the girls went to the local shopping centre and did a little bit of shopping. So if that went into there, that went into there, that went into there. That would work, you know. Or we bring our design tighter and disconnect there and just have this one doing the connecting here. You know, I'm actually tending towards this, to be honest. Why? Because that one is so big and I just think it might be handy coming up. I just have a tremendous feeling I should just stay within the zone that I'm in. I'm not going to trim that back too much because we've got a joining here. So maybe we put that in. Instead of fussy cutting it way back, we use that fabric like that, tuck that under there, and then, I hope those voices aren't too loud. I'm sure you guys understand. I can't quite make out what they're saying, so they mustn't be too loud. Where's my pen? So that, come over slightly. No, I feel like it needs to tuck in there a little. That stitches down there. That goes. And I might even leave this bulk up here, because then I can bring something down over it so it's sort of tucked in under the next seam. And that leaves us this side that maybe we can do a bigger piece up here or build in another floral. Or maybe there's a prompt that could be quite long. liking this. This then will join into there. This will join into here. And this will join into here. So it'll feel like it's, you know, well, the other option was to do that. Like, that's so pretty. But, you know, what's stopping me is the prompt is a tool shed or a glass house, and my theory is to go inside that structure. Now, there probably wouldn't be a bird there. So in my head, there could be a plant that's drifting into that space from outside, but there certainly wouldn't be all of this. So I'm not going to go down that track. I'm going to save that. Maybe I just looked as I put those pieces away. Ooh, so I haven't added one of these in yet. Okay, now we're heading off on another tangent. I wonder if we build this side up with this. How will I join it? Is there another one of them? Time to go through the box again and see what else we've got. I really love that, but I want to save it. I don't want to use it. I haven't put any of this in, but I don't know. I think it's because I just don't feel like I can cut it yet. No, it's coming out of the box, guys. I just can't cut into that yet. It's out. Got plenty here we can use. Plenty of morsels. That doily hasn't found a home. We've got a path. I don't think we're going to need that for this piece. That's not going to fit this piece. That was way in the beginning when I was sort of throwing around options. Oh, I've got another little purple flower. So they're all ground going up. That's too big. I don't really want to cut into it. That's nearly a project in itself, but I would if I had to. We've got a little bit of lace here from the bottom. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, just bear with me. I've just had an idea. I want to get this piece in. And we have an edge issue here. So I'm wondering, oh yeah. We could pull it right down. Where's that flower under there? That wouldn't interfere. That would give us a nice piece of linen creeping up, plus a green edge. I'm going to use this. So I need to fussy cut. I can be quite intricate here, but all right, let's just get the bulk away and then we can nibble into the actual embroidery and see. Oh, these are beautiful. What are they called? Reminds me of flax flowers is what they remind me of. And I like this little green scallopy edge. That'll be nice to try and work into the border. Yep, that will work. And I can cut that, fussy cut that right back. Really is just a case of fiddling around. Like, you could spend hours doing this. I'm trying to get as much as I can into the video, so I have to make decisions. I have to just commit to it and go for it. I used to be worried about such things, but now I'm just like, it is only fabric, it is only thread. I can adjust it, I can unpick it. And sometimes the most amazing things come from it because I'm forcing myself, like in a time allotted space, to make a decision. But I don't want to lose the fun of when you piece things in and then you want to walk away and think about it for a bit. I love that. I love the fact that I've got time to digest what I've just done. I wonder if that could come over there. So that would be in the back, and we fussy cut that a little bit more. And I could lift it a bit. I could roll that down. So I might draw a line. We're getting real technical here, because I want that flower to be peeking out, but I don't want to be too far over this edge. So if I cut around there, and then everyone's gone quiet. What's that mean? Does that mean they're eating? Or they've just closed some doors so I can't hear them? Now I feel like I'm missing out. How silly. As long as they're all entertained, hey? There we go. I think I can nibble that bit of fabric out there, and it will be just... It's a real patchworking, this. At least now I'll have a little project to stitch while they're all sitting around my craft table looking at me. You watch what'll happen. They'll go, oh, what can we do? So I'll be in scramble mode to quickly find some fabric, a bit of lace, a needle and thread, and just say, stitch that on there, and they'll be away. They'll love it. Okay. So I'm going to tuck that under there so it looks like it's coming out. That now feels like it blends fine with that. I can tilt that a bit more so that gets that back a little bit. I'm just going to nibble a little bit off of there. And that, where that joins, I wonder, and do I get that like that? Can I come up? No. I want that to sit like that. All right, I'm just going to snip my little invisible stitches here under these couple doilies, because I'm going to try and put it like that. Yes. I probably am coming too far out, but I'm not too worried because it'll give the side of my piece a bit of a random, you know, shape. So I'm not too worried about that. So that can be pinned down. That covers that nicely because there's a bit of a seam under there that we had to disguise. So that fixes that issue. And even still, I feel like I could bring some more flowers in through this zone so it looks a little bit more. That can go up there. Oh, I like this. Really happy. I'm glad I didn't do the bird piece because it's sort of, I don't know, it seemed simple. It seemed a bit too easy, didn't it? A nice big sweepy piece, drop a few plant pots and I was out of here. Nah, no good. We've got to make it harder than it needs to be, don't we? Okay. And I love how we've got this little green blanket stitched edge here. Like, that is so fine, that work. I'm not 100% convinced it's not a machine. Yeah, it's a machine stitched doily. This is not a fancy made piece from a lady somewhere. This is a little machine one. I was just looking at the stitching on that edge and it's just too perfect. It's a sewing machine. So an embroidery machine has had a pattern fed into it and then away it's gone. Like, that's perfect stitching. Now that I'm focusing on it, I can see that's... Anyway, so let's get my little box of tricks here. So that piece will save for a rainy day. And let's see what's in here that could be used to disguise the fact that we've got those fabrics meeting. I better keep them out because I think they could be. No. That's a good size. That's a good size. We could revisit these and just nibble out something like that. That's too good of a piece to chop into, so we'll leave that. That's got nothing to offer. We still have that little guy. Too big. A maybe. No. 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 All right. Okay. Let's just go back, and what I'm trying to do is disguise this through here. Where that join, I just feel like it needs just a little something. Whether I've got a little something that can be used, I may not. So it's a shape like this. It's an S and it's not quite right. I could probably cut that down into individual flowers, but I'm going to leave it. I just don't have the right thing. Maybe I've got to work some doily. They're too big. Where's our doily bag here? Maybe I've got to get some of these little pieces. Yeah. When all else fails. Doily medallions. Yep. Yep. Beautiful. See, that fixes that. We can still see the leaf. That can come in there. I can still do my basket. Where's my pins? Right there. Now I need some little ones. So that there. Where's some itty bitty? What are you down here? You're a different colour. Maybe that comes to there and that one in there. I liked him there for some reason. That's nearly too big. Yeah, that's better. Drift it up a little bit. That feels a bit better. I still need something. Do I cut? No. Got one more left of this. I put it in that box just so that it pops out at us when we're... Maybe I've got to tuck... Where's a half one? Here. Then we give the impression that there's a full one underneath, but there's not. We put that in there. Yep. Where's that little white one? Then that comes on top of there. That's better. That's more interesting. Let me zoom in so you can see what I just did. So we're disguising that edge. So that little guy, perfect there. See that gap? It's all right in behind here because they're hanging in the air. But that meeting that, and then there's another layer behind. I'm going to use that to sort of transition the piece. Oh, I'm not going to use big words because I'm talking out of my pay grade here. But I'm going to transition some layers here by covering up the fact that we're changing layers. Does that make sense? That one there could be nibbled out a little more. We'll come back to that because our linen is here. So I think I could chop more out. Now this in here, there's just nothing big, too big. Everything was too big. And it sort of covered him, covered that, and was creeping into that space. So what I'm going to do is a half one, I think. Tuck it under so it gives the impression it's the layer behind. Then where's that little one gone? This guy can just pop in there. So it sort of looks like it's giving it a bit of depth. I don't know. That's my sales pitch. So that can be pinned. Yeah, I like that. I don't mind the odd edge because you just have to. You can't not when you're collaging doilies together. So I don't mind that, but I don't want to see big long lines of it. Like now that I'm looking at it again, this big long line here is annoying me. So I'd like to soften that. Where's my pen? And I can see that line behind where the fabric changes colour. So we've got a couple options. We could slide in a piece of fabric to blend that a little bit more. I definitely think I should cut through here and get rid of that line and soften it a little. But the question is, do we slide some cream fabric in under there? Let's do that. Bring it around. It's not attached, so I can pick it up. We can also pop a few little doily morsels in there too to help blend the piece down as well. But do we put a piece of linen in there? I need a good piece. Do I have something? Of course I'll have something. It is more layers to stitch through, but we can do it too. Let's just where will it take it? Where will I take it? Sorry guys, you can't see, but got to be a bit careful because if I go and put another linen, let's zoom up. If I go and put another linen underneath this guy, then we're going to have a colour transition between there and there. So you sort of got to decide, is it worth it? Let's put him back, trimmed. They'll be fine. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that, you know, because I think it'll actually be fine. Because what I'm thinking is, like before, if we feel like we've got a bit of a line happening, that'll go in there and that'll soften those. Let's pin him. He's a definite. I'm starting to get peckish. I Must be because I'm thinking of them all sitting there eating quiche. Cooked a heap of quiches late last night. And I thought that'll just be easy food as people arrive and they're feeling peckish. They can have a slice of quiche. Plus it fed hubby and I. Ow. Oh, man. Concentrate on what I'm doing. Now, we can always redraw our lines a little bit. Maybe I've just got to tilt it a little bit. Yeah. Bring it down and tilt it and pin it. Okay, so Saturday night. So you're watching this Saturday morning. So Saturday night, a couple of us are going off to the Ed Sheeran concert that's here in Brisbane. And the rest are, so this is where our weekend just got crazy because those tickets were purchased a year ago. So, and suddenly now there's all these people here, but some were coming with me anyway to the concert. And, oh, I tell you. So a couple of us are heading off to that and the rest will just hang out. So it's going to be a busy night. So whether you'll see a video tomorrow morning, guys, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a second video filmed this afternoon and then you can watch that tomorrow morning. But I'm sure you understand. All right, I'm loving that. Now, the only thing I want to do is maybe look at bringing one of these in just to, but I may not need to. I'll come to that. This spot here could need something, but I sort of think it'll be okay. Now I think I've got everything pinned. Now let's have a look at these baskets. What have we got to do on those? So we've taken the concept of that vine and then the baskets are, okay, so she's just done a little running stitch to give the impression that it's a wire basket. Okay, let's sketch. So a bit of a line through there and then from that center point she's just come up to give the impression. Okay. Then she's done the same here. My tummy's rumbling. That quiche is in my brain now. Can't stop thinking about it. Okay. Then she's filled it full of flowers. So this little guy, she's just done some random little who knows if my embroidery will be the same as the pattern, but I'm just going to put some little marks in. Who knows? At least they're sketched in, and if I'm just sitting around. See, I'd completely forgotten about that concert tonight. I was thinking we were all going to sit in the craft room tonight and stitch. Oh, goodness me. I don't know if I'm coming or going, to be honest. Oh, sooner or later someone taps you on the shoulder and say, Corrine, don't forget you got to do this, and then you just run like a mad chook. And I've only sort of clicked in the last week that the concert tickets for Saturday night for the last year, I thought it was a Friday night concert, and then Ticket Tech sent me a little message to say that my tickets were available. And all I had to do was log on to their website and download them, and they were then on my phone, so when we get to the gate, you know, it's just in you go. So that happened, and I'm looking at them because Mary Ann's one that's coming with me. I was looking at them thinking, oh, there's Saturday night. Then I started to think, oh, goodness, I may have double booked a few things, but anyway, it's all worked out and everyone's, you know, amusing themselves. Maybe they're not even here to see me. So I'll be able to sneak off and do the concert and gosh, I'd even forgotten at the beginning of the video I was even doing that. You guys will be sitting there going, that girl, she's a lunatic. She's a hot mess. It's going to be busy this weekend. Okay. I don't even know if that's going to work, but I've done a few flowers, a few leaves. Just sketch and chat. Little daisy things. I'll put the dots in first. I'm not going to do lazy daisy stitch like they've done there because that's going to be tedious. I've got to turn the piece in my hand all the time to get that stitch. I might just do a stitch that is just strokes. That'll be a lot more simple to stitch because it's in the center of this piece and it's not in a hoop. It's sort of, so you're constantly fighting, holding the piece to do your embroidery. So I'm gonna just make it simple on myself and just do straight stitches out from that, probably a French knot or something. Instead of having to turn the fabric to get that lazy daisy stitch in play. And then she's got a couple little random green little, like I'd picture that in my mind as being a green little stitch around the top of the flowers just to sort of soften and add a bit of interest. Roses and leaves, what's she saying? Hanging basket chain stitch. Roses, raw edge fabric. Oh, okay, so she's 3D'd those. Oh, okay. Her plan there is you cut out a leaf of fabric and then stitch it down. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually embroider it because that doesn't suit this piece. That'd be good for the French garden, but it doesn't really suit this piece. Another thing I could do, instead of trying to build a doily into here, I was just looking at this wisteria. What we could do, create more work. Let's, I'm going to draw it in because, you know, I sort of want to see what it looks like. What if we do some extra little embroidery somethings in here? She's done a wisteria, so we could do then some French. Oh, talk about add work. Like, here's another hour of embroidery here. We could do these little vine-like. Well, it's fun drawing it. Doesn't mean I'll stitch it. I will, because I'll see it and I want it. So we could do just to soften. Oh no, can you see what I'm doing? Let me zoom in, guys. See that there? I'm thinking of maybe that will help disguise this seam. I do like it. So we could have this one here. So what's she written? It's in reference to something in the pattern. So if we come down here with this and then do a little cluster of wisteria. Oh my goodness. My tummy's rumbling and I'm creating another 3 hours work here. At least we've got a plan. Thank goodness we have 2 weeks. My goodness. It's good when there's not a lot on my plate. I can just soldier on every morning. I do a video every night. I do stitching and everything falls into place. Lickety-split. I wonder if I do a little stitch up here. I won't do, let me bring it down. I won't do anything here because I don't know what's coming down from the top. So I'll keep all of my additional wisteria stitching in this zone, I think. Yeah, I love it. Yep. Yep, I'm happy with that, I think. I don't know how these roses will go. I might add some actual satin roses. I won't be stitching them. I might add some, I don't know. Won't make any decisions yet because I've got to get the back anchored. I've got to get this all anchored. Then I can get my threads out and start, you know, playing in here. And that might be video 2 for this. But we'll see how we go. We'll see what happens. All right, folks. I'm going to leave it at that. I think we've created enough work for me. I've got stuff everywhere here, so I better leave it at that. Now I have to think about what those girls are going to do tonight that... No, goodness me. The boys will just have to look after their wives, won't they? There you go. Decision made. And then Marianne and I can sneak off and catch up with some other mates and go and see Ed Sheeran. Oh, I completely forgot. Anyway, I love this. We've got a plan. We have a plan. I don't mind that there's a bit of air there. That gives us a bit of space. It connects. Love it. Plus we've added an extension. We are off and away. The next prompt maybe can come in here. I don't know. Ah, love it. All right, guys, I'll leave you in peace. Look after yourselves, and I will report back shortly with my adventures from the weekend. I'm not sure if I'll get a second video made today, and that'll be your Sunday video, or I will skip Sunday and go and be social. Who knows? Stay tuned. Bye for now.